We may have just seen the first leaks of the Asus ROG Ally 2 and Project Keenan and Kel from Xbox. So according to videocards.com, the FCC official certification has actually leaked some images here of the Asus ROG Ally 2, supposedly, and that Xbox version collab with Asus, because there's two separate models here with different specs, as well as two slightly different looks. So off the bat, I would imagine the white one would be the lower tiered one, and then the black one would be the higher spec one, like the Asus ROG Ally X. But it looks like video cards are saying the other way around, because on the black one, there's actually like an X scribbled into that extra button in the top left. Now let's just quickly talk about what it looks like before we go on to the specs, because I don't know, man. I'm sorry, Asus, if you're watching this. I don't know, I'm not too sure about the design of this. Now, straight away, you can tell that these are like pre-production models. This is not final, like by any means, especially when you see these pictures, you can see these are like molds that are like kind of mocked up as such, so that you don't get any images of it on or anything. But basically, imagine an Asus ROG Ally X, but with some GameCube handles like slapped on either side. So they've tried to like put an actual controller horn on either side, and I'm not too sure about that. I mean, we saw in the Project Keenan, the leak with Xbox, that video where they take the Z1E, the white Ally, and then merge it with the Asus Xbox controller, right? And I just don't know about those horns. It looks really chunky, really bulky. There's a different photo like from the back as well. It just looks very wide. And then there's one of it like laying face down, and you can see how chunky it is. Now, it might be super ergonomic. I personally really like the ergonomics of the Ally X over the Z1E Ally, but I don't know about this. It looks like it's going to be very big, but looking at it, it looks like we've got the same D-pad, the same joysticks, the same face buttons. Everything looks the same. The only difference is there's an extra button in the top left now. So yeah, okay, like that's cool. I imagine that's where they would put that Xbox button. Surprised it's not round for the Xbox One, but again, these are totally molds. This is not final. Now, the thing here is as well, they have actually given us some specs, right? Now, video cards haven't even jumped on what I'm seeing here, because there's more specs than what they're listing. But straight away though, they are saying that there's two different variants here, and we'll go through what they've said and then I'll add to these, right? So the higher variant has a Ryzen Z2 Extreme with 8 cores and a TDP of 36 watts. That's high. Is that plugged in? Is that on battery? Who knows? Because we know the Asus ROG Ally X and the Ally actually cap out at 25 watts on battery and then go up to 30 watts whilst plugged in. So with a TDP of 36 watts, I mean, is that 36 maxed out plugged in? Or is that 36 on the battery and it goes up to 40 plugged in? Who knows? I assume that that's plugged in. But check this out. We've got the Ally X, which has got 24 gig of RAM, 7,500 mega transfers per second, right? But this one is going to have 64 gig of LPDDR5 at 8533 mega transfers. So that's insanely fast, and 64 gig. What? This thing is going to be expensive. The white model, on the other hand, according to video cards, uses an AMD Aerith Plus, which is the successor to the Van Gogh, which the Steam Deck has, with 4 cores and 20 watt TDP. And that just confirms everything that me and AJ have both been saying, that Xbox will want a lower, cheaper, like a lower end system that they can pull the price down and sell more of. So it's basically going to be slightly better than the Steam Deck, which again, we said they should do. They should pair it so close to the Steam Deck in terms of price, but slightly outperform it. And then people are going to choose this instead, right? Especially with the launch of what we dub Xbox OS, which is just like their gaming Windows 11 OS, the slimmed down version. But that's not all, because I'm seeing more specs here in the screenshot that they've got with all the like jargon in, right? And what I'm seeing is more so on the higher end version. So on the higher end version where it says up to 36 watts, I'm actually seeing that as a 35 from their like dodgy image here, but it very well may be 36. I'd assume it's 35 because going up in 5s makes more sense. However, this says LCD touchscreen 7.0 Full HD, but I'm seeing either OLED or QLED with a P on the end. I mean, is it an O? Is it a Q? It's kind of hard to tell because of the blurry image here. Like, it's so low resolution, it's unbelievable. I'm gonna go with an OLED with a P next to it. No idea what the P means, who knows? But it very much looks to me like it says OLED 120 Hertz. Now, that's pretty big. If Asus have managed to get an OLED, 120 Hertz OLED in there with VRR, and get around VRR flicker by having that Z2 Extreme chip in there with 64 gig of RAM and a higher TDP, the only way to get around OLED flicker is to make sure that you've got a high enough 1% low. So if you've got your top end average, well, your average frame rate, let's say at 100 FPS, but your 1% lows are 40, that variable there, an OLED can't account for that. So you're gonna get OLED flicker in VRR, right? However, if you can get those 1% lows up to like 70 or 80, like within like a 10 to 15% window, something like that, maybe 20%, then you're not going to get OLED flicker because it's not as big a jump as going all the way down. You know what I'm saying, right? So maybe this is actually possible now. Maybe they've managed to make panels that are OLED that just don't have VRR flicker. We've seen some really good VRR OLED panels from MSI and other people, LG and stuff, that just don't suffer from VRR flicker, but 99% of the case, they do. The other thing that I'm seeing here as well is right at the bottom. I don't know why VideoCardz hasn't like looked at this in more detail. So it says we've got Wi-Fi 6E, which is exactly the same as the Asus ROG Ally X. And then it says SSD 2 terabytes, 2280. So it's a 2 terabyte Z2 Extreme 64 gig, like 8,000 plus mega transfers RAM with a potential OLED 120 Hertz screen. This thing's going to be over 1,000, like over 1,000. If you think the Asus ROG Ally X is like £800 here, I'm not sure what it is in US anymore because of all the pricing stuff, right? And I'm certainly not even sure what it is in the UK now that's been affected by it. But with these specs here, I'm thinking like 1,200 for the top end one here. I can't comment on the Xbox collab, but you know, I imagine it will still be fairly pricey, but I think it's right that they're choosing a lower end model to try and aim towards that Steam Deck price, because it just makes sense, right? And I'm certain that once these are announced, probably at, I don't know, some sort of event this year, right, that we will see the Xbox OS, the Windows Gaming OS, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be really slimmed down and by Windows, like really aimed at gaming handhelds and PCs in general. So there we have it. What do you think of these images? I'm a bit uncertain about the looks of them. I'm sorry. Like, you know, we're going to pester Asus so that, you know, once they actually announce these, hopefully we can get hands-on on both, and then we'll be doing videos on both of them. Let's see if they want to lend us some to do some videos on. Is it time to sell your Ally X in preparation for this? I don't know, because I'm fearful the price is going to be very high on this top-end model. Whether or not that is the most top-end model and they do even more variants, I don't think they should. I think they should just have the Xbox One at a low price, the very high tier one at the highest price. This is Asus ROG, remember, they only do the top spec that they can at the time. So I think they should just keep that, like absolutely balls to the wall, you know, pure performance and power on the top end. But who knows, I'm excited to get hands on. Maybe, you know, that slightly ugly look feels better in the hand. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, become a member, and you can talk to me and AJ over on our private Discord. And for all things handheld gaming and Ally X and everything else, and all the new Switch 2 stuff as well, make sure you stick around. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.